I meet so many people on this topic of job search, starting out, or again, as my channel is focused on over 40, who just don't know. And and being in that space can be very difficult and off-putting and embarrassing at times. Um, Before I go into my next section on translating your experience, and actually, it might be a good segue. Couple things on and going back to the engineering student. Um, so again, I've been at universities for over 2 decades. Um, I don't have an undergrad. I did my high school, I did 1 year university, and I dropped out. I thought I was going to go through and do pre-med. I thought I was going to be a doctor. I had great scores coming in out of high school. I love math. I love the sciences, and university kicked my butt, and I didn't get it past first year. It was I call it. We had a mutual understanding. I decided not to go back to university, and they didn't invite me. Um, I spent 27 years in private sector, sales, a lot of sales. You want to learn how to get through life. Like, sales is a good way to learn it, because you have to have a lot of different skills. I talk about soft skills, communication and sales, and networking, and emotional intelligence are not soft. These are called power skills, actually. Um, so when you talk about not being prepared for roles and having imposter syndrome, I had it for well over two. I had it for 2.5 decades. Um, but building a brand, building a persona, delivering results. I went back and then I got my MBA. So I did my MBA when I was 46, 47 years old, without an undergrad. So imagine that. And I did mine on a team with a bunch of engineers. So this is why I speak very warmly of engineers, because they helped get me through my MBA. Amazing team. So yeah. And then shortly after I got my MBA and I had that accreditation and I had a awesome job, um, leadership change at the university, and I lost my job. 47 years old, MBA, no job. Um, like, what do you do, right? And this is where I was talking about and you just, at first you go through denial. It's very strange. Well, I'll just get another job. I've got all this stuff. I'll go get the exact same job again and keep the salary and everything the same. Sorry, kick my chair there. And it was terrifying. It was you go through the whole range of emotions, right? Anger, denial, sorrow, uh, what have you. But it took me. I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to have about a year to really get back. But by not listening to the advice that I would give to somebody right now, I wasted a bunch of time. I thought I was just going to go back and get another tech job. Um, and I kept applying for all these things that just they weren't really, and when I got no's, I was fine with that. I didn't really, it wasn't. And listen to that. If you're applying for a bunch of jobs and you're getting no's and it doesn't seem to affect you, then maybe you don't really want to do that job. You think you're supposed to do that job. That's the right job for you. That's what you're supposed to do. Um, but this is where the Simon Sinek piece came into, about finding your why, and what is that personal brand, and why do you do what you do. And job search becomes a lot. It's not easier, but it's more comfortable when you're actually pursuing the thing that you truly want to do. And with me, when I soul searched a lot, and I did a lot of watching of Simon Sinek and reading his books on start with why, and more importantly, find your why, and an invaluable, yeah, a resource that I think everyone should read. It gets you back to your core. When I talk about the tell me about yourself, in LinkedIn, your cover letter, that your why statement. There's actually a book on how to craft that yourself, and the exercise that you can engage in with a colleague or a friend, to find your why and to develop it, and create that incredibly precious story. Going through that, I realized, again, I mentioned earlier in this feed, It wasn't the tech; it was helping people with problems. So I started working on that, and I started using LinkedIn and my resume, and getting my putting myself out there, volunteering. I was part of Rotary at the time as well. Um, Still am. Um, and letting people know I'm not the tech guy, I'm the problem solving guy, and with really solid communication skills and very organized, and I consistently deliver results. There, so while it wasn't getting me into the tech back into the tech world, it made a really good background and resume. Although on paper it made no sense, but teaching, and then I started teaching at the local college, and I started teaching at the university that I work at currently. Um, and on paper, it made no sense. But it was through that year of discovery and difficulties and awkwardness, and again, as I said, sometimes embarrassment of the position I was in. The This is where a lot of the information I'm talking to you about today and in my previous videos comes from. I have learned this in my I have learned this in my profession, and I've lived this in my life. So yeah, I know it, and I'm confident doing it. And the, I had more where I lacked confidence was sharing it in videos like this. So hopefully, I'm achieving something and I'm providing some value. So that's a bit of my story, and I've been very, very fortunate. I'm now 57 years old, so I've been the last several years have been the best working years of my life. I'm achieving exactly what I want to achieve in a way that I hadn't thought possible. When you get a job that you didn't think it existed because it's so fun to do, right? That's the dream spot.